Namaste, namaskaram, hello everyone. I know that at this point of the year, everyone's probably busy with New Year preparations and midnight plans. And since this has been the holidays, I've been spending time and enjoying with my family and friends as well. Usually, when we talk about the winter holiday season, we also hit New Year's. And according to Western sentiments, New Year's is observed on January 1st. When I researched a little bit more about this, I actually was surprised to find out that there's no scientific significance for this particular date. And what I mean by that is that it's not the start of a season or an environmental phenomena. In fact, the only significance it has is the one that we give to it by calling it the start of the new year. This date for the new year can even differ. My mom has always told me about the Hindu festival Ugadi, which is actually the Hindu New Year. And this happens around March, and it actually has no fixed date in the Western calendar because it follows the Hindu calendar, which is based on lunar months. And this was very interesting to me, so when I explored a little bit more about it, along with all the things my mom has told me about this particular festival, I found out that this date that Ugadi falls on is actually significant, since it marks the start of a seasonal cycle. For example, Ugadi always happens around the spring equinox. And as a Hindu American, I get to embrace both cultures. So naturally, I like to celebrate January 1st without adding any sentiment to it, while also celebrating Ugadi, along with some Hindu traditions, such as going to the temple, eating Ugadi pachadi, listening to the Panchangam, which is basically predictions for the upcoming year. And many Indians like me also celebrate as in such way where they celebrate January 1st and Ugadi, and we all share our respective importance for each. However, recently I've been seeing some sort of a gray area between the two, and that is exactly what I wanted to address in today's video. First of all, I saw a lot of temples celebrating New Year's with religious sentiments. And what I mean by that is that recently I saw a few posts where temples were staying up midnight, chanting shlokas, or doing special pujas for the new year. The one question I got when seeing all of this was, why are we attaching a religious significance to a Western holiday? As a person, you could choose to celebrate holidays in any way. However, temples are cultural centers, and people refer to their practices whenever in doubt. By adding religious value to January 1st, which is not supported by any Hindu practices, I personally feel that temples promoting New Year rituals is not correct. Moreover, for people following temples' customs, they might wrongly believe that New Year's is a religious holiday, a Hindu holiday, when we already have the Hindu New Year, Ugadi. This might cause even more than present misinformation and misinterpretation of Hinduism. I feel that temples as religious centers have the responsibility to uphold authentic Hindu practices and rituals. And though they may be built in America, they should still stay true to their heritage, just as they've been doing for millions of centuries. Secondly, this is a gray area because many may argue that Hinduism grants you the freedom of expression and practices. And while this is absolutely true, this does not mean that an ancient religion changes entirely to conform to Western practices. As a person with Indian ancestry and perhaps born in a different country, the way you express your dual identity is a choice of your own. You can choose to respect both cultures, one, none, anything, because that is an individual decision. However, taking a Western concept, bringing it into temples, and endorsing it as a Hindu ritual is not an individual choice. It's a matter of wrongly educating people about Hindu practices. It's about taking pride of your own religious festivals as well as being educated about your own heritage. Respecting the Western New Year is one thing, but converting that date that is otherwise scientifically insignificant into something with religious importance is completely different, especially in a religion that gives such specialized reasoning behind every festival and every ritual. In addition, this may play into our inferiority complex. I'll just ask you one question and answer yourselves as honestly as possible. If there was a Western holiday that was celebrated by the majority, and a Hindu holiday that was celebrated by the minority, which would majority of the people proudly practice even in front of their non-Hindu peers. I would think the Western holiday, because there's a sense of inferiority or even embarrassment when it comes to expressing your own heritage in front of people that are not familiar with it. As temples continue to religiously promote the New Year's, more people will be comfortable in celebrating the Western New Year instead of the Hindu New Year, Ugadi. And I can guarantee you that you'll see more social media posts about New Year's in saris and Bollywood music and diyas because it's a Western practice and naturally granted validation. Also, few temples have recently started reading the Panchanga, which is basically predictions of the upcoming year, on January 1st. So, reading predictions based off of the Hindu calendar on a Western holiday based off the Western calendar is suddenly celebrated as a Hindu ritual. I also want to add that I'm not in any way comparing the overall importance of either New Year. Because whatever religion it is, the festival must have had its own place in their heritage, and so it must be respected. However, I haven't seen any other religion offer religious aspects to a festival that is not of their own religion. So why must Hinduism conform to Western sentiments? Lastly, I wanted to quickly add in the Hindu American narrative upon this situation. I am a Hindu American student, just as many of my classmates and friends in school. And more certainly than we can state our college major, we can say for sure that we've all been affected by the need to balance our American and Hindu identities. And as undecided as we are about the same college major, we're even more confused about what traditions to and to not follow. And so naturally, we tend to follow our parents into temples during Hindu festivals, and we also follow whatever rituals they practice. Kids like me spend time in festivals for Hindu events and also spend time with their friends in gatherings such as New Year's. If that is also made to be a Hindu practice, then how can we be expected to stay at temples on those days as well? And how are we supposed to define Hinduism in our own terms with all of these changes and the inferiority complex in school, as well as the lack of accurate information about our culture? The bottom line is that I hope for temples to realize this point and celebrate their own festivals with such pomp manner that they're doing for the new year. This way, Hindu American kids like me and many others will get to learn about their own heritage and be proud of their own festivals and be in an environment that gives them the authentic identity of being Hindu. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope this turns out to be a beautiful platform where all of us can raise our voices without having to seek validation from our peers. And this was my opinion on the upcoming New Year. So if you have anything to add or anything to debate, please put them in the comments down below. And I hope this turns to be a respectful discussion where we can all share ideas about this topic and maybe even address them in a future video. So see you again, Happy New Year, and have a great 2023 ahead. Thank you and namaste.